got us up here?
Yeah. Good morning. Don't you all look nice and awake?
Right here, right here. This is still 12:30 in the afternoon. It's early for someone who's just finished.
It's early for me because, you know, I'm in the show here and I sleep, you know, we get through at 12 and by the time I get to sleep, it's 2. And then when you want to get up, and of course there's a certain age that you reach and it takes longer to get ready. Yeah, right, girls? Some of you know.
How many were in the audience last night at the Colonial Theater for, we had a few people here, and you had quite a night. It was opening night last night, wasn't it?
Opening night was so terrific. First of all, the theater is so gorgeous. Oh, I wish I lived here so that I could try and buy that beautiful lady. That theater is... You all have to just go and drop by and see the theater, even if you don't want to see me. But it's so wonderful. It's so beautiful. It has little stalls, and it's all in red and gold. Oh,
yeah, it is.
Fabulous.
It's very ornate. We're going to talk a little bit later about the show that's currently here through March 4th. But first, I would like to go back to, because in reading your book, your autobiography, what seems so effortless, what seems so full of just sunshine and ease in Singin' in the Rain, you write about being hellish. Let's take a look first at a clip of Debbie Reynolds, Donald O'Connor, and Gene Kelly in Singin' in the Rain. Now, three happier people you would be hard-pressed to find, at least that's the way it looks on the screen.
That's the way it's supposed to look.
Yeah, I know, but...
That's entertainment, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Right? You don't want to see performers up there looking unhappy. I mean, our job is to make our audience forget their problems, come and have a good time. Especially today in the world. I mean, that's why I wanted to do a musical on stage. Now, I like to go and forget my troubles for a while. But in the movies, yes, we always, we were happy.
Young Debbie Reynolds, being coached to dance for those numbers by Gene Kelly, was crying frequently behind the scenes.
Yeah, well, you know, Gene Kelly is a wonderful man. He's a taskmaster, you know, and he's Irish and those black eyes, you know. Oh, don't be so pushy, really. I'm Irish, too. Big deal. So, no, we are proud of it, aren't we? You know, we like our heritage, but we like America better, where you want to go back there and they're still fighting, you know. We're English and Irish, but we're just the hind soup, you know, a lot of everything. We have Cherokee blood. My mother, we have a little bit of everything. Now, so, Gene Kelly, he's so true. See, I haven't forgotten yet.
I knew you would. I knew you would.
I'm still okay. So, Gene, I love him, you know, we're good friends, it isn't that. But he was so brilliant, you know, he did Singing in the Rain, he directed it, he did all the staging of the dance numbers and everything. I was 18. I really was once. And so I didn't know what he knew by any means, so he would yell at me all the time and say, "Get it right, Reynolds," you know. And see, in those days, we pre-recorded the music.
Right.
So that we mouthed to a record, you know, to a lip sync, they called it. And he had a microphone so that he could tell us if we were, you know, not smiling enough or not doing it right. So he yelled at me a lot because he wanted me to be terrific.
Didn't he yell at Donald O'Connor instead of you sometimes because he really wanted to yell at you more?
Well, he yelled at me for a couple days, see, and I was 18. And I was very sensitive because, of course, I didn't feel as good as they because, of course, I wasn't. So I would cry. And then they'd have to cut the camera, you know, because tears, and then the mascara would run. And it would take like an hour to fix me back up. So this happened for 2 days, and then he decided if he yelled at Donald instead of me, I wouldn't cry. So that's how, you know, it all evolved. So poor Donald told me this story. We were here recently over in Beverly, Mass. Donald O'Connor and I did a little show together for about a year, and he told me that story. I never knew that Gene yelled at Donald so that I wouldn't cry.
There was someone, and I love this element in the book about Singing in the Rain, someone very special who saw you crying, who came to you and showed you that, hey, it's tough for all of us.
See how he's luring me into these stories?
That's right.
Well, I was rehearsing one day, and it was very hard work because, you know, 3 months I rehearsed all by myself with my teachers, though. 8, 9 hours a day. And one day I remember I was under the piano and I was crying, and everyone else had gone to lunch, and I was under there going, I'll never learn it. I was feeling very sorry for myself, you know. And someone walked by with, you know, black pants on, and someone said to me, little girl, what are you crying about? I said, I'll never learn to dance. I'll never learn. It's just too hard. It's too hard. I don't want to do this movie anyway. I don't want to be a movie star. So this was Fred Astaire. He leans down and he says, now come here. You're Debbie. You're the new girl. Because in those days, they hired young people to train them and become stars, you see. So we had all ages under contract. That was the perfect way to do it. Naturally, to build new stars, you have to start from the beginning. Mm-hmm. So he called me out and he said, Debbie, it's always hard. There's no easy way to do anything right. And dancing is the hardest. He said, now, I never let anybody watch me dance because he was a real perfectionist. He was as hard as Gene in his way because, you see, they had to be perfect. And, of course, they've done historical things. So he let me watch him rehearse for about a half an hour, and then he started to lose his temper because he couldn't find the step that he wanted, and he threw his cane, and I thought I better get out of there before he hit me. And I realized that that's the frustration of creating something truly brilliant. And I got over that terror of not being able to learn and be as good as the next guy. I didn't have to think about being as good as the next guy. I just had to be as good as Debbie could be. So that's what we have to keep in mind all the time, to be what we can be, and strive to do that, not panic. And I don't panic anymore. Look, I'm just as calm out here meeting you, Tom. Here you are, a pregnant man talking to your mother. And you look fabulous. Look, no tummy. It's just amazing. That kid will come out going like a little string and say, I'm here, I'm here.
I'm not showing, am I?
No.
Right.
You men have such a deal. A little fun, and then we got to carry that thing.
There's a TV show.
See, I almost didn't hear that.
Wasn't there a TV show last night, Alien Nation or something, where the guy actually gave birth? So, not on this planet, but on other planets, it happens.
Book my flight. Let those guys go, oh! Not pleasant.
Can I ask you?
Did you ever sit in on it?
I was there when my daughter was born. I was there for the whole 25 hours.
Were you terrified?
I wasn't.
What was your feeling?
Well, no, I wasn't terrified so much as mystified by it. It was incredible.
Was your heart sort of
yes.
For her pain?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you just? I think it'd be harder to be watching and to someone you love.
They told me that men have passed out in there. You know, they get in there. These big guys get in there, and one contraction by the wife, and they go, hey, yeah. and that happens. But I was just.
Let me tell you, when I gave birth to my daughter Carrie, I was married to Eddie Fisher at the time, and they in those days they didn't let the men watch. They put him in a thing, you know, in a mask and everything, and he was standing there. He fainted dead away, hit his head. Everyone went to help him, and I gave birth to the baby by myself. He was a bigger star.
We're going to break. You just gave me the best segue.
Oh, my papa. Where do you want to catch it?
Can we talk maybe? Can we talk maybe a little about that Eddie Fisher period of your life? Okay.
My life is an open book. Whatever you like to do.
And also some impersonations with Debbie Reynolds. That's wonderful. Coming up next.
Is it an honor to be Harvard's Tasty Pudding Woman of the Year? See the antics that took place when Glenn Close came to town to accept her award. Then, despite the harsh realities of inner-city life, this teacher is helping her students build self-esteem and learn to dream. Uma Pemraju introduces us to this New England hero. And Bill Costa takes us on the scene at the Grammys for a behind-the-scenes look at the show and this year's nominees. That's all on Wednesday's Evening Magazine, 7:30 TV4.
You don't have to squeeze this ripe peach to know it'll be juicy. You don't have to wash it first. You don't have to peel it. You don't have to take out any pits, pluck off any leaves, or pull out any stems. We made New Libby's ripe with the whole fruit, not just the juice. So it's just like fruit, except it's easier. Ripe is fruit you don't even have to eat. Ripe, the fruit you drink.
I could sure use my tax refund now.
With H&R Block's Rapid Refund program, you don't have to wait.
Great, but I'm a little short of cash right now.
With Rapid Refund, you don't need any money.
What's that?
With Rapid Refund, H&R Block files your federal return electronically with the IRS, so your refund loan is on its way to you in a matter of days. You don't need any cash. All fees can be deducted from your check. Available whether Block prepares your return or not.
That's the way it ought to be.
That's the new Rapid Refund program from H&R Block.
Cheryl Teagues for new Light and Lively Free.
I've been a model for over 20 years, which means I always have to watch what I eat. So, of course, I eat a lot of yogurt. Now I've found an even better yogurt. New Light and Lively Free 6-pack. It's fat-free.
All night long they chatter away, all day long they were happy and gay, swinging and singing in the honky-tonky way. Habba dabba 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 means monkey, I love you. Dabba 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 in monkey talk means chimp, I love you too. Then the big baboon one night in June, he married them and very soon they went upon their rabba dabba honeymoon.
Debbie Reynolds is with us. That was supposed to be just a sort of a throwaway song, wasn't it, in that movie, Abba Dabba Honeymoon?
Well, we didn't make records in our days, you know, Doris Day and myself. We made these songs for the movies, and then they released the film, and somehow Abba Dabba became, well, it sold 2 million. I have 2 little gold records, because in those days they made those 45.
Yeah.
They saved money on me, didn't they?
Have you ever, have you ever played that record? Because sometimes these people get these gold records and they play them and it's some other artist singing on them.
Well,
I don't know.
I haven't checked it out.
You were doing, just as we went to break, you were doing an incredibly accurate Betty Davis.
Betty? Well, the thing about doing Betty is, oh, it's too soon. I haven't started now. I don't know really what I can do with you. I really don't. I don't know. Did you know who that was? Well, applaud that one. I'm here to tell you now. Today we're going to do Dr. Hoot. Yes. Listen to me. You must sing. Yes, you listen to me.
Oh, wait.
It's a big good one. I tell you what we do.
Yes.
I'll teach you. That's Dr. Ruth, in case you didn't know who that was.
You also do Zsa Zsa?
Well, I never can do Zsa, but I say my ring is too small. I can't do it because I don't have a jewelry. I think she's so much fun, you know. It's amazing.
So does the police force in Beverly Hills, I'm sure. Yeah.
She says, well, I wanted to rent a cop, but instead I slap a cop. That's what it is. She says, John, you can't believe, Debbie, dear, I couldn't believe it. They stopped my car, darling, my Rolls Royce. Then he grabs me, and he pulls me out of this car. He almost spilled my drink.
Look at this. You know what? I think we're going to charge you people for tickets now. We're having too much fun.
I don't do this in Unsinkable Molly Brown. Now, you all have to come see my show now.
Right.
Colonial.
Colonial through March 4th. Let's talk...
Say that again, the Colonial.
The Colonial through March 4th. Say it like an announcer.
Saturday,
You're going
sing
Saturday?
it there.
Okay. All right. We'll talk more about the show a little later on. Eddie Fisher. You have been quoted in one interview that I read in a Boston paper as saying he is sort of, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he's sort of a pathetic old man now.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. I like old men. No, I don't think I said that. I feel sorry for him now, you know. I always feel sorry for anyone that doesn't have enough gumption and courage to face life and to get better. I think whatever our problems are, we all have our problems, we all hit illness We all have to face pain, and we have to survive that crisis, and that is done with a faith, a belief in God, or whatever philosophy you like. And you must get over your addictions and problems, and to just keep carrying them on and on and on and sinking down and down. I don't admire that. You have to face your problems.
Well, you obviously, I mean, we're seeing every cover of every paper and magazine with Donald and Ivana Trump, and that's what it was like back when he left you for Elizabeth Taylor. It was everywhere, every cover, every
It's amazing how many people, you know, really remember that as if it were yesterday. I'm always asked about Eddie, and that's so long ago that I'm not angry with Eddie any longer. I was, of course, deeply hurt. I was very young. I had 2 children. Oh, men and women are deeply hurt by their marriage ending, you know, and there's nothing easy about a separation, especially if there's another woman involved or a man involved, you know, if it's the other way. So it's a hard thing to grow up to, you know, and no matter what age you are. I have a very special woman in my life who's like my mentor, teacher, and like a second mother. And her husband left her when she was in her late 60s, and they were married for 39, 40 years or something. Now that is more devastating than anything. For a woman much not attractive and, you know, not a younger woman, that's startling. I mean, if something walked in that was just, gorgeous, you'd say, I don't understand it, but okay, you know, have a good time. But it's more devastating the older you get, I think.
And with Elizabeth Taylor, you never really expressed that I'm aware of any real public anger or resentment towards her.
I didn't say anything about Elizabeth until my book.
Right.
I just happen to have a book. No, Elizabeth and I talked about it much later after she was married to Richard Burton. And she admitted that she had made an error in going after a married man, or not refusing to have that happen, because a woman can refuse a man's advances. Let's say Eddie advanced on her. You can say, no, you're a married man. I never dated a married man. I wouldn't even go to lunch with a married man. It's up to the woman to say no, isn't it? Because if you're a lovely, beautiful girl, I was young and terrific and fun and all that, I could say no. But if you don't want to say no, then you can, there's a chance there. Especially Elizabeth, you see, what happened with her is she lost her husband. He was a very dear friend of ours, Mike Todd. We were her closest friends at that time. It was right that we went to her aid. It was right that Eddie go and be with her as a friend. It was wrong that it developed on. But she could have stopped it then and there, but she needed someone so desperately at that time.
Was there any feeling of yes when she threw him over for Richard Burton on the set of Cleopatra?
I always knew that that would be over briefly. Eddie's wasn't enough for Elizabeth. Elizabeth is having a hard time now because Elizabeth is a very exciting woman, nothing boring about her. She's very bright, you know, she wants to have fun, she wants to have color, and for a man to be equal to Elizabeth, that's an unusual man. I don't know who that's going to be, because she had 2 of the greatest in the world, you know, Mike Todd and Richard Burton. My goodness, Richard Burton was the best. I mean, he could quote you poetry, and he was the most interesting, wonderful man and a wonderful heart. So I don't know that she's going to be lucky enough. Self-destructive only to himself. Self-destructive, right, Debbie. Of course, self-destructive. I'm not a morning person. I loved Richard Burton. I thought he was great and grand, you know, and I thought she's been lucky. She had 2 wonderful men.
You mentioned Eddie being at or attempting to stay conscious through the delivery of Carrie, your daughter. He was not around, though, for their growing up.
No, Eddie left when Todd was 6 months old, and so my daughter was 2. So, you see, I raised the children. I consider them to be mine. I have a thing about that. I feel that if women raise the children and we pay everything, then they cannot have a voice in it. They can be there if they choose to be there. Eddie never chose to be there. So my children, they know who he is, and if they want to call him and get together with him, but he's not in my life anymore. He's in their life, because he's their father.
There's a story in the book of you putting presents under the Christmas tree, pretending they were from him, and Carrie finally at 9, I think.
Yeah, I
bringing
think
one to
there's
you.
9 or 10. She brought it to me and she said, Mommy, you give this to a child that doesn't have a father. So that was that. So I didn't put any more gifts from Daddy because she knew he wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
Well, those things are in the past, and I hope he does well. I wish him well. My life is so wonderful today that I just keep praying that everything just stays the way it is. You know, I'm very blessed. I've lived through it all, and still healthy, and I have a lot of fun.
Do you think you finally, do we have a picture of your current and last husband?
That's
as you
my favorite
said,
and
I don't know if we have a picture. Yes, of him.
I don't know.
But do you feel like it took a long time for Debbie Reynolds to believe she deserved a good relationship with the man?
Oh, I always felt I deserved it because I really am a good wife. I was always wondering, what am I doing wrong here? Because I tried to follow the rules. Perhaps that's my mistake. I am a little old-fashioned. I always think the man is not maybe the boss, but certainly, you know, I do have a tremendous attitude about, I'm Victorian about that.
That's why Robert Wagner broke up with you, was it?
Well, we were only kids dating.
Oh, I see.
I mean, I was 18, he was 19. That's a kid.
Yeah.
We were dated for 2 years, but in those days you dated, and you didn't do anything, you know, hanky-panky, so that you could break up without feeling devastated. I think what happens is a lot of the young people today, because they go into a real relationship, I mean, they live together, so they're having this sexual attachment that is way beyond what any of my generation did. To us, that was a sin, especially if you were religious. You didn't do that. And therefore, if you did break up, you weren't devastated by it because you hadn't really given your whole self to that person. I think that's real important. It is to women. I don't know. Right, girls?
When, one of the things...
I think they're going back to that more.
We're going to...
Because of problems.
Yeah, sure, with AIDS and all. We're going to break in a moment, but before we do, your husband proposed to you on your first date? Is that right? Your
My present husband.
Present and last husband.
And last.
And this is something that had happened before with your other two husbands.
I know.
Right?
They all want to marry Tammy, I guess. It's like, the trick is when they get me, do they like me off record? You know, see, I'm two people. I mean, but they've known me my whole life. My present husband said to me, Debbie, the difference is, because I said to him, what, are you crazy? Why would I don't even know you. Why would I even think of marrying you? We just had a date. I mean, I'll buy dinner next time, and don't ask me to marry you. It scared me to death. I mean, I was 50, 49 or 50. I was never going to marry again. I had my family. I certainly wasn't going to get pregnant at 50. Oh, please. I don't need all those diapers again. And I don't care. Even though they have throwaways now, I don't want them. So I've done my job. You know, I've raised 5 children. So anyway, I said, I can't get married again because I'd rather have a friend and a companion. But I wouldn't want to marry. He said, but you see, I've known you my whole life. So I feel I've known you. I have an advantage over you, Debbie. You just don't know me. So now you have to trust me that I'm telling you the truth. I'm a wonderful guy. I've loved you since I heard the record, Tammy. And you are my best girl forever, and I want to marry you. I said, well, after we get you out of the clinic, maybe we'll talk about it. I mean, it scared me to death. Well, he is the best, but I look at him every day and just think, he'll probably disappear. You know, overnight, he'll become a bad guy.
We can call him during the commercial to make sure he's still at home if you want.
Well, how wonderful my husband is right now my mother is very ill and has to have an operation. Right now, she's having this operation. And he's with her.
Oh, that's nice.
And my brother and my children. But that he's with my mother, you know, looking after, because he knows that I have a show. If I walk out on a show, I've never not been with my mother when she's ill. So this is very hard for me not to be there. I know if he's there, everything will be covered because he's so strong that he won't be emotional. He'll be sure that, because my brother isn't good with these things. My brother gets very upset and goes and sits in the corner, and he won't fight with the doctors, or he won't make sure she has the private room. Where's the nurse?
Yeah.
Give her another shot. You know, I'm always running around saying, my mother doesn't feel well. She has to have a shot. It's 3 hours. Where's the nurse? You know.
But he'll do that for you.
But he will do that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty wonderful.
It is.
I mean, she's the mother-in-law.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, I don't want to monopolize the whole conversation. I'll let you in on it, and you as well, with Debbie Reynolds right after
We'll be
this.
here.
We will.
We'll be here.
Debbie Reynolds. From Singing in the Rain. Let me, one more question of my own, then I'll let the audience and the viewers get some in here. You were talking about how your husband is taking care of his mother-in-law, your mom, right now as she goes through surgery. I just have to ask, what was it like to be the mother-in-law of Paul Simon?
Musical.
Did I note you stiffen there a little bit, or?
No, I never get into my children's
I
lives.
see.
And I never discuss them.
Ah, okay.
My daughter was married to Paul, and he's a very nice man, very talented, but that just didn't work out. So it was sad for both of them.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. You said that you wrote the book, which you're welcome to show again if you would like, right there.
Just,
to sort of head
I have 20 out in the car.
to head the kids off at the pass a little bit, so before they write their own.
Yes, well, I wrote the book because I wanted to say about my life. It's my life, and why should I wait till I die? And then they write a bunch of lies about me. I would like to. They're going to write something anyway. As soon as I do, they'll say, well, she left this out of the book. You know, I want to just, while I'm here, my daughter said I should have named it, instead of Mommy Dearest, I should have written Money Dearest. Because I'm always out of money, you know. So.
Well, as a result, really, of your second marriage, you're...
I know, I lucked in. He was such a jerk. Oh, I loved him, you know, but he just couldn't, whatever. It's a shame, but I let that happen, so it's my fault. I'm better at business now. I try to watch my own money. I write my own checks and look after things a little bit better. But I really I don't like business. It's very boring to me. I work hard for my money, though, so I shouldn't just turn it over. Women should read the paper their husbands give it. You know, they hand you something, know what it is. Don't sign it if you don't like it. Because in the end, you may have to pay for it like I did, and it took me 10 years. And I was broke for 10 years, millions. I lost everything I had, every home, every car, everything gone. Sell everything. I mean, it just wiped me out just because my husband was a bad businessman. But that made me a bad businesswoman, so I can't blame him. I have to blame myself also, but I do blame him, yes.
He's no longer alive, is that right? Is he...
No, he is deceased.
Yeah. Let's go to Jim in Stoughton. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Debbie. Hi, Tom. How are you?
Good.
Debbie, number one, welcome to Boston. It's wonderful to have such a talent here. Your vibrance and your talent come through clearly, and I'm wondering what kind of an impact you thought that had on your children, whether you wanted your children in the business, and whether you'd recommend that for other children.
Well, I don't recommend it for children, child stars. I think they lose their youth. I think I came in at 16. That's a nice age because I was young, I was a Girl Scout, I was a Brownie. I had a life that children should have. Free responsibilities, yes, but young and a child and not burdened with all of that, going to work at 4 in the morning, 6 in the morning, do this and do that. I mean, I just think that's wrong. I did not raise my children to be in the business, but God gave Carrie so much talent that she's in it, and very gifted. And her book she just wrote, Mike Nichols just made it into a film with Meryl Streep and Shirley MacLaine called Postcards from the Edge. She wrote a book called Postcards from the Edge, and it's a wonderful book, and Mike made it as a film. We'll see it as a movie. So I'm thrilled about Carrie. My son is very happy also. He is a very religious boy. He was studying the ministry, which he's now not going to finish. He wants to just be a witness and like a lay preacher. And he's in electronics. He puts in Stevie Wonder's sound studio he put in, and he does all these computer things that I know nothing about. But thank God, the children are great. Even my stepdaughter has made it, and she has a little baby boy. So everything's going on.
If you don't want to answer this, obviously don't, but were you involved with Carrie as she sought to extricate herself from her drug problems, too?
Parents are always joined. I mean,
yeah.
We love our children. It's a hard thing to go through. addictions are very hard to go through. Right. My second husband that lost everything from me was a gamblaholic that was undiagnosed in those days. Nowadays, I think the Pete Rose situation brought that out, sure, that this is an addiction. And of course, the main addiction for young people today is drugs. And it's a terrible addiction. Mm-hmm. And that's every kind of drugs. I mean, especially crack now is just so terrifying because it's so cheap and the kids think it's a kick, and that if they do it more than 5 times, they're in. It's a terrifying period. Mm-hmm. We should all pray for the young generation today. It's a tough one.
Who over here? Yep, stand up.
Hi, Debbie. I just want to say from my heart, I love you. And I love the movie Molly Brown. I saw it about 20 years ago, my first time, and I've seen it at least 100 times, and I might know it even better than you do. I know
belly up to the bar, boys. Better listen your bell.
Only somebody else. I know. Matter of fact, I have a keyboard, and I play you. I go boing, boing, boing on the keyboard. But I just want to say, I know that movie was so hard for you. I mean, the dancing and everything. You put so much work into that, Debbie. And I have 2 questions I'd like to ask you. One is, Harv Presnell is like the epitome of what a man should be. And, you know, I loved him so much in the movie, and I loved you as well, but I haven't heard much about Harv. I didn't know if maybe you could share something about that.
Well, Harv went to New York to do Annie 2, which is a new play. But unfortunately, the play closed. I was so lucky, I just feel like God shone down on me to get a leading man named Reynolds, who is so gorgeous. He looks like Robert Goulet. He sings like Harv, you know what I mean? It's just this fabulous operatic voice. You'll see, you come and see, he's so divine.
Before we break, wasn't Harv Presnell supposed to be with you in this production?
Yeah, well, Harv was in it for a while, but then he got this opportunity to go to Broadway.
So now he's unemployed, isn't he?
Oh, yes, he is. But I'm blessed to have this leading man because he's truly special. And you'll see when you come to see him, you'll all swoon over and say, oh, is he stunning?
And let's talk Molly Brown when we come back with Debbie Reynolds after this. Great stuff. Now somebody said, yeah, you said, right?
That's dancing.
That is dancing. That is dancing.
Thanks.
I mean, Ray Bolger on his rubberiest days couldn't have matched that there. That's...
Well, we do it every night at the Colonial.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about. This is...
And Thursday's matinee day. And Sunday matinee day. Come and see us belly up to the bar, boys.
Now, but we're looking at a clip from 1964, for which you were nominated for an Academy Award. What's it like 1990 to be doing the same dance numbers?
Well, it's harder, but for me, but it's fun to do it because I sort of proved to myself that she ain't down yet, you know.
Indeed, indeed, yeah. Stand up, please. Incredible move.
Debbie, I just want to say that you're as beautiful as ever, and I've always thought you were great ever since I first saw Singing in the Rain. Welcome to Boston.
Thank you.
Go over here. This guy's been wanting to be on TV ever since he came in here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to, what's her name again?
Debbie Reynolds. Debbie Reynolds.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to Debbie
Leia's
Reynolds.
mother.
That's right, Princess Leia's mother, yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to Debbie Reynolds that I read about her in the bookstores and all that, and I wanted to say to her, I love her, and welcome to Boston.
Well, that's nice. That's nice.
Wow.
Thank you. We got you on television. All right? There you go. Let's go to that one time, just so you know, so you don't feel bad, we had Valerie Harper on the show a few years ago, and I said, we'll be back with Valerie Perrine right after this. So it happens. Don't worry about it. Let's go to Gary in Hyde Park. Hi, Gary.
Hi, Tom. How you doing?
Good.
My question for Debbie is, how do you compare the actors of today and also the quality of acting now to that of the past?
Well, we had it easier in the sense of training. I think there are some very fine actors today and actresses. You have one in town, Kathleen Turner's doing Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. She has a wonderful quality, and I think she'll really go even bigger than she is today. Well, I think she'll stay is the important thing. Her career will last. We had the star system, so we had we learned voice placement. We had to work very hard, especially on the voices, so that that's why you had so many distinctive sounds. You know, that's why you had Betty Davis sounds and Hepburns and Mae West, and you had these unusual qualities that were brought out by training. I think they don't have as much good fortune as we did. That's why I want to go into teaching. I really want to pass it on to them, and I wish more big stars of the past, including myself, would teach the big stars today, because there's more training needed, but we do have some wonderful new stars today.
Did you always want to be an actress when you were younger?
No, I wanted to be a gym teacher, as a matter of fact.
Did you really?
Yeah, in school, but I'm happy it ended up this way.
Yep.
Hi, Debbie. I really admire you. I've admired you for years, and you're just as beautiful as ever. And I just wanted to ask you about your figure. You always look so beautiful. And you're dancing. You have to take so much energy dancing. Now, do you have to practice a lot? Tom did tell us that you did make an exercise
We're going to
tape.
see some of that, some of the exercise
great,
video.
great.
And the paces you're putting Shelley Winters through in the background there.
Well, I do believe you have to exercise, and it's also very good for us. I don't say you have to do it every day, although that would be the best. You know, we always think we have to do it like 2 hours, an hour. Even if you did 15 minutes, even just staying in bed, lying on the mattress, so that you can do your leg lifts and you can do stomach sit-ups and all in the bed, and then the mattress cushions your spine so that you don't injure anything. You know, as we get older, our bodies are not as supple. You know, it's harder for us. So I exercise a lot in bed on the mattress. And then
Do we really want to talk about this much?
Swim a lot.
Okay. Go ahead.
You are really in such good shape. Do you have an exercise or fitness program that you follow religiously?
Mine.
Your own.
Yeah.
Well, it's called Do It Debbie's Way. It's on a tape, and you can get it in the video store. Because I don't push it, it's not in every video store. But you can order it if it's not there, because they have so many of Jane Fonda's so that they don't have room for anybody else's. Mine is a very low impact. It's for beginners, and it's very easy to do. And I do it to maintain.
And we're going to see a clip from it when we come back right after this. So stay right there and get ready to tone up with Debbie.
Now just breathe up and breathe out. Because now we're going to get down on the floor and we're going to do some nice stretching exercises, all right? Come on, now we're just going to get down. Easy. Sit on your side buttocks. Put your feet out in front as far as you can. You don't have to do a big thing like, look at this. She hasn't had any children. She had 2, though. Look at that. What a drag.
Reynolds. Just a quick note for an upcoming show that we would love to have you be a part of. We're going to have next week, I believe, one of the nation's top relationship counselors is going to be here, who has saved many a marriage and relationship. If your relationship is in trouble and you want to avail yourself of his services, we'd love to have you here. We'll even put you in shadow if you don't want the neighbors to know.
I'll come back.
You'll come back for that? 787-7109 is the number to call. One of the things you miss when you're watching the commercials, Debbie was showing the audience her leg bumps. Now, these are your trophies, really, in a sense, right? You talked about breaking both your knees at one point?
Well, you know, when you're a dancer, you wind up, well, it's like a football player has all these injuries. You know, they break their shoulders and their ribs, and they have all kinds of the knee problems are the biggest problem. No, I just say I never can forget certain films, because this lump here and this lump here was Singing in the Rain, because I was doing a tap dance, and I jumped up and I fell down and I wrecked both of these lumps. Here, see. Ooh. Then these 2 lumps were from a nightclub act I was doing, and again, I'm doing a tap dance, and down, and I broke these, like cracked them, and it was, I hurt. And then in the middle, there's 2 more lumps, and that's from another musical that I did, because I fell off of a swing. See, I'm probably just a klutz.
Well, they look good from here anyway.
Oh, thanks,
They
honey.
really do, yeah. to do.
I was wondering how your exercise video came about. Did someone ask you to do it? Did you decide to do it?
Yes, because it was 5, 6 years ago before anyone had done an easy one. Everyone was so hard, and a lot of the ladies would say, Debbie, why don't you do a program for us over 40? So I said, well, fine. I did it. I was busy. I was on the road. But I've been a student of gymnastics, and I've always been into body work, you know, my own body. And so I just decided I knew as much as anybody knows about it. It's 41 years I've been doing this. So I put that little thing together.
And it has...
I don't want to do a new one because I like the old one, you know.
And this has gone platinum, by the way. It's
yes,
been
twice.
Quite the seller. Yes, over here.
I just wanted to say it's a pleasure to see you after all these years. You're just as beautiful as ever. And I wondered if you were still actively involved with the Thalians.
Yes, the Thalians is a charity for emotionally disturbed children and now adults. And we built our own hospital. And I'm very active. I have been for 33 years. We've raised millions. I'm very proud of it. And it's a charity work that I have always been dedicated to.
Who else over here? Don't want to. Okay, yep. I'll come right over there after.
You're a wonderful inspiration to us survivors.
Oh, thank you.
And I think many of us are, and I think it's your attitude and your lesson we're supposed to be here in life to learn. My daughter's a producer, yours is the writer, and I was the performer. So I think it's what we were given, not that we have credit for, but we continue to do what we do best is to help other people. And being where you are has really helped to us. Thank you.
That's nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Now you speak, you speak from some personal pain here, huh?
Oh, I'm a member. I was the founded Mayday, which is the support group for women and children abuse in 1976 in Pennsylvania, along with Dr. Fitzpatrick, was working a few miles from me for the alcoholic women.
Yeah.
I was the wife of an alcoholic. Thank God my children don't drink, but I wasn't the one that drank, so I was with you.
Yeah, it's nice to see
bringing
you.
up the children.
Right.
And it's just that if we can help others, we first have to help ourselves. But get your children to get help and go yourself. And get some exercise. I do weightlifting. I swim, and I'm 69.
What can you bench press? That's great. Thank you for... You know, okay, that's all right. Over here, yeah, yeah.
Welcome to Boston, Debbie, and I think you're fabulous and marvelous. And I was in New York yesterday with my daughter, Susan, having our hair done, and the hairdresser, we mentioned that I was going to see you, did your hair 30 years ago at the New York Hilton and said to say hi. Jerry Francis, do you remember her?
30 years ago. Oh, sure. Oh, I remember her well.
Okay, there you go. Who else over here? Yeah, yeah. Back here first. I'll be right back. Yeah, okay. Stand up, please.
Yes. Do you have any input in your dance routines, or is it left to the choreographer?
No, it's not left to the choreographer because he has to do what I can do. And I don't turn left, I turn to the right better. So I always want to go that way because Gene Kelly taught me that, and I have to go that way. See, Gene always turned, and Gene always did these steps, you know, all these kind of things. So I do all of Gene Kelly's steps. So, you know, if I could get Gene, I'd have him do my steps still because I still do his steps because he taught me as a kid. No, I'm very heavy into that because it has to be your expression. You know, what you can do. But they put it together for you.
Okay, right over here. Yeah, stand up.
Hi, Debbie. You went through so many emotional things, and when you named your son Todd, did that ever have an effect on him in his life, knowing that it was part of a romantic triangle?
Well, no, Todd was named before Mike Todd passed away. And Mike Todd was a wonderful guy, you know, and a marvelous man. So I love his name, and Todd loves his name.
I'm happy
and he's named Todd Emanuel after Mike Todd and a man named Manny Sachs, who discovered a lot of great talent in show. Dinah Shore, he worked for RCA Victor. So there's a lot of history in Todd's name.
Well,
and Emanuel also means very religious, you know,
right.
In the Jewish faith. And my son is a Christian, but he was raised to believe in all faiths, so,
right.
you know,
We'll
he's
be
a
right
special
back.
boy.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with Debbie Reynolds right after this.
Unique in Latin or French or Greek, and calculus just between.
The Unsinkable, Molly Brown, is at the Colonial Theater. It opened to a standing ovation, curtain calls and all last night. Going through March 4th, the performances are Tuesday through Saturday at 8 p.m., Saturday matinee at 2, Sunday matinee at 3, Thursday matinee at 2. Holy mackerel. Good heavens.
Showbiz.
Yow, yow. Go ahead.
Yeah, I read Postcards from the Edge, and I was just wondering if she was writing any books now. Carrie.
She was relating, a lot of that was about her problems, of course.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it was so funny.
Yeah.
And devastating. It's for the younger generation. My generation would be shocked at a lot of the words, and we don't really understand drugs that much because our generation drank.
Yeah.
And probably
Yeah,
still does, you know.
She was asking, too, any other books that Carrie is planning?
Yeah, she just finished another novel, but and it's already purchased by Spielberg to be made into a film. So she's on a high roll, my daughter.
is.
It's very exciting for her, but she's also very talented. Something about give me your pink or show me your pink. I don't know. It's very
Let me
strange
tell
title.
you, Debbie Reynolds, this has been a rapid and
This is it.
highly entertaining hour. It's all over. I thank you very much for
Thanks
being with
for
us.
having me.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.